Bortle here at YCS Charlotte, the first real YCS post-pandemic. My goodness, with the former YCS champion himself. Let's go, Couch.
Hello.
Dominic. How you doing, man?
Doing alright. How about you, Bortle?
Oh, doing amazing, dude. Thanks for being on the channel. So what happened, man?
Of course. I went 9-2 in Swiss. Played against a lot of Scythe, which is kind of unfortunate. It was fine. Got through Swiss. I lost to Prank Kid in top 32. I just couldn't beat Nib. I knew all of his cards except the card he drew off Pranks. He drew Nib, and I had to try to kill him that turn, or I was going to lose to Dasher and everything else, Dasher and Celestial and everything else on the following turn. So it is what it is. Just Yu-Gi-Oh. Happens.
Alright, any shout outs before we begin, man?
Yeah, so shout out Team Jobber. It's my newer sponsor. Shout out to Sean Rye, Christian Georges, Carl Manigat, Guyton Georges, and Greg as my hotel room. We all I was gonna play Carl's deck with him and Christian, and when we were testing, they told me that I played the Swordsoul deck so well that there's no way I should switch, and so they made me play Swordsoul, but it worked out. I topped, so it's good, and I think that my deck was very good for the tournament. I don't know, Yu-Gi-Oh happens. All it is. And then also shout outs to Clifton. Had a lot of fun with him at the PPG last week, and that's where I kind of learned the game again. So that was great.
Oh God, yes. Without further ado, please show us the game.
Yeah. So I played Tenyi Swordsoul, so 3 Moye, 2 Taye, 2 Ecclesia, 7 normal summons was the right amount. It was really good. This card is good going second, but really bad to draw in multiples, and is not ideal going first because Ash is really bad against your deck in the first place. This is one of the only cards that plays into Ash. And then Moye can't reveal this card, so if you draw these two together, it's much worse than drawing these two together, because if you draw these together, you can go Moye, reveal Taye, and then if this gets stopped, you have Taye for next turn. But with these, you have to normal this, and then summon another Moye, and then reveal Moye, and then if you don't have a second worm, then the other Moye that had to stay in your hand is not even a follow-up. So Ecclesia is not that great, and I didn't play DPE in this one like I usually do, so the recursion of Ecclesia wasn't there, so there was no reason for it to be played over one of the others. And then I played 3 Longyang. This card's just really good. You can make Baron to crack a field. The new level 10 is broken. It's actually outrageous, and Changing is still hitting. The card's very good. I played 3 Ashina, 3 Vishuddha, 3 Adhara, and Chathana. I didn't play Circle. You'll notice later, but I still really liked Chathana because there are lines where you just have a token, and then Ashina summoning Vishuddha or Adhara doesn't do anything, but if it summons Chathana, you get to play through a lot of cards, and Chathana is also fine into most boards. Trades with stuff in the mirror against Prank Kid, it's kind of whatever, but against most fields other than Scythe, this card can destroy a card the same way Vishuddha deals with a card the majority of the time. Even if you lose your battle phase, you are able to establish a way to win the game. So I liked Chathana. Then I played 1 Despot because I played Hulk. And then for the hand traps, I only played 3 Ogre and 1 Mourner, and then I also played 3 Impermanence. These were the only hand traps I played because I felt cards like Ash and Effect Veiler, cards of those sorts were not impactful enough to end somebody's turn by themselves with the Brave cards. So I wanted to play all hand traps that I could draw as my 6th card on my turn and that were live to help break the field. This card I didn't really want to play, but I wanted to play a 7th hand trap that I could search off Chaofeng when I already had Ogre when I black out my Chaofeng. And so I decided to play one of this one for that reason, to search off Chaofeng. And it was it or Bell were the only ones that you could activate on your turn, but Bell gets chain blocked the majority of the time, so this one ended up being better. Then I played 3 Emergence, 3 Vessel, and 3 Teleport, 3 Droplet, and 3 Cosmic Cyclone, and Call by a Grave. So these 10 cards all really help break field. Well, this card is like very good into the metagame. Like, you hit the Pandemonium in the draw phase, they like lose their whole combo, and you like maybe have to deal with a DP, which is not that hard with the Tenyis. You play against like Swordsoul, you can hit Blackout. You play against like the Cyberse Eldritch decks, you just hit the Scythe because it's not protected. Or you can like obviously hit random trap cards or whatever, and against Fluanderies, you can hit their trap card in the draw phase, they can't chain it, or you can banish map. And card's just really solid right now, I feel like. The only card is really bad. The only deck it's like bad against is the base deck, and it's because it's like very hard to Cosmic their Scythe and like be able to deal with the negations to force the Cyclone through, so it's not good against that matchup, but it's fine against everything else. Teleport, you can also play in the draw phase like in combination with cards like Cyclone to summon Ogre, and it just beats the Griffin, which is their only layer of protection the majority of the time. Call by the Grave, kind of the same reason. It like helps push through really ignorant fields going first, but it also can hit like Scythe and Bow Wow, etc. going second. And Pod Desires, because draw 2 and then 1 Blackout. I played 46 cards.
Oh yeah, some spice right there.
Then shout out Izzy and my Alcremie tokens. And then you already know, shout out Thicker Clifton. It's my man. And shout out Aldo and the Snorlax, and Jeb and the Boltund. Already know. For the extra deck, I played Helk, Auroradon. I did not play Arclight. I played Arclight at the PPG last week, and I maybe only summoned it once. I felt like anytime I was going to summon Arclight, I was probably going to win the game anyway. So, with the card I ended up playing over it was Shaman, which is a card a lot of people have been cutting. I believe the deck is very good at breaking fields, and Shaman not only helps push through like plays going first and can revive the level 10s like Changying and the Longyang Synchro, which are both like very hard to deal with once, let alone twice. So Shaman like doing that, and then like pushing through fields going second with like a mug, just like forcing a card, and like destroying cards. It was very good. Or like going first, you get like hand trapped, like Veilered or whatever on your Moe, and you didn't have Adhara, you had a different Tenyi. You can just make Shaman like pitch Taye, or there's all sorts of plays you can make with him. I think the card is too good. It's very versatile. Play 2 monks, you never need 3. Berserker, I actually don't even know if I summoned this card this weekend, but you have to play it. It comes up enough. Double Boxia. You summon this card like a good amount going first, and Boxia is just so good going second, and it's why I think the deck has such a good Prankhead matchup. Also, is that like the board is breakable, and then why most decks end up not being able to beat the Prankhead deck is because they can't clear all the cards after the Bow Wow resolves, and this deck like Boxia's all the cards away, so it becomes like very manageable. And Yazi and my boy Chow Funky. This card's just so good. Chow Fang has an effect where when one of your opponent's monsters is destroyed by battle or card effect, you can summon a worm from your deck of the same attribute. So like against the Prankhead deck, you just like summon this to play around Nib, and you just like attack a Prankhead. And then if you kill Fansies, you summon Taye from your deck. If you kill Dropsies, you summon Moye from your deck, and then yeah, it's just so good. Then for the 10s, Baron, Longyang, and Changying, all these cards. These 2 cards are very good. This card is mediocre, but you have to play it. But the other 2 cards are just so good. And then 2 Chichao, standard. And the side deck, I trusted Avery Foster on this card. Whoa. So shout out Avery, but I drew this card one time in the tournament against DDD. It was okay. I don't know. Some of the other playtesting I did like during the tournament after I submitted my deck, this card like did not do what I really wanted it to. But I also played against like 7 artifact scythe decks, and this card is not meant for that. It was meant for like Prank Kid among other things. It's just like a coverage card. It ended up not being very good. I don't know if I'd play it again, but it was cool. Droll, Gamma, Driver. And then I played 1 token collector, and I sided Shooting Riser. So in the mirror, I still think you're supposed to tell your opponent to go first in the Swordsoul mirror, and whereas before you had Protos to try to like cheese a win when you got told to go first by calling light. Now what you can do is in the Hout combo, you can Shooting Riser send this, and like a play I would often do if I opened Emergence is I would like do the Yazi line and then summit, and you would leave a token up, and you would tie a. I can show you really quickly. So you like Emergence for something, and then you have a Taye. This is in your grave, and then you have a Taye, a token, and like that's it, right? Your Auroradon treated itself, and the Yazi killed itself. And so what you can do here is you can Taye banish the Emergence, summon your Swordsoul token. So this is the Auroradon token, this is a Swordsoul token. And you can use the Emergence to make your Taye a level 5. And then you can use this level 4 Swordsoul token and this level 3 Auroradon token to synchro summon Shooting Riser. And Shooting Riser sends Collector, and he becomes a 3 and Taye is a 5. And then you can make Chichao with these. And then Chichao like adds Blackout, and then this searches, or this like sends a Tenyi for whatever else you have. But like that makes it so that in the mirror match you have like Blackout or a follow-up, you search off Chichao, a negation, and Collector, which becomes like very hard to deal with. And then I also sided 3 Solemn Judgments for whenever I went first.
Oh yes.
It is a very good card.
Thanks for the bonus combo tutorial. Let's go.
Of course, no problem.
Alrighty, well, Dominic Couch representing Team Jobber, and this is World. We are out.